Hello and welcome back to this channel. Happy Friday. We made it. We made it to Friday, and what a Friday it has been. We are going straight in. This is probably going to be a multi-series, probably a twofer, a two-for-one, a little twofer video. In this video, I am only going to be talking about everything Wayfarer, and then in the next video, everything Jed Wallace. And I gotta say, if there isn't a lawyer that I like the most, is Jed Wallace's lawyer, because he is dragging Blake Lively over her ridiculous second amended complaint. In this one, we are going to be talking about just the Wayfarer parties, their answers to the amended complaint, as well as Blake Lively unsealing some text chains that literally disprove the smear campaign, as well as show how fearful and how literally monstrous she was on the set of It Ends With Us. Grab your emotional support lip gloss, because we are going in. You are in frame with Mandy Magnan. Now, I just gotta say, guys, today I spent 4 to 5 hours maybe reading all of the documents, all of the motions, all of the letters, everything filed from yesterday and today. And I am just in complete disbelief that Blake Lively, while having these text messages and these emails, is still continuing with this absolute gimmick and charade of a lawsuit. And after reading all of this, I was actually, number one, exhausted and needed to go have me an appetizer. But number two, my heart was aching for Justin Baldoni and the Wayfarer parties. And before we continue, I just have to get something off my chest, because Lord have mercy. You psychotic, narcissist, insane, egotistical, super bitch. You and your husband are psychotic, sociopaths, insane. I can't believe the things I read today. Text messages between the Wayfarer parties. And Blake Lively has the audacity to keep going. But you know what? I'm going to use something that Steve Soritz referenced in one of these emails. And please let me get through this with patience and a little bit of grace, because I just had to let it out of me. I don't know how they survived Blake Lively on the set, because they knew all along what she was up to. Just like we know now what she's been doing. In an email by Steve Soritz, he does say, we should always find the positives. Where there is love, nothing is too much trouble, and there is always time. We should always find the positives. Where there is love, nothing is too much trouble, and there is always time. Find the love, find the positive, find the love, find the positive. I think the love and the positive here is definitely all of us banding together to take down Hollywood elites like Blake Lively and like her psychopathic husband, Reynolds. And I just want to give a shout out to every single content creator that is following this case, because it is a full-time job. It is overwhelming some days when you have over 20 to 30 things filed in the court. So just like a huge shout out to every single content creator except for this guy. This man is extremely dangerous with the misinformation that he's putting out there. He has been riding so hard for Blake and Ryan and so anti-Justin, which is really weird, because in his own bio, he talks about being like an advocate. Let me just pull up exactly what, oh my God, he's just so gross. That's it, right? He claims to be an anti-misogyny educator and a men's advocate. Yeah, okay, maybe he's just a little bit jealous of Justin Baldoni, because Justin Baldoni is actually good at what he does, and he's actually a true advocate for men and women. But he is very, very, very dangerous because through his misinformation and how he takes these little things and completely twists them on their head, he's able to promote this kind of behavior and these kind of comments. Can we just be serious for a minute, please? I don't get how people don't see how close this is to sex trafficking. He was letting people pay to come see her naked and even be in the scenes with her. Go sit on someone's couch. Honestly, go detach, unplug, read the complaints. This is an absolute wild, wild, wild thing to say. Where have we come where we can even closely relate Blake Lively's false allegations to sex trafficking? Stop it. Stop it right now. But to all the other content creators, even, pro Blake, pro Justin, whatever you want, other than people that literally breed some of the craziest theories and things I've ever read in my life, this is a full-time job and it's very overwhelming. And today was one of those days that were like, hold the phone, what's going on? Let me take a little appetizer because it was just so much information. But now I am here to share it with you, and we are only going to talk, like I said at the beginning, about Wayfarer, because it's getting out of hand, Blake. You yourself just proved there was no smear campaign by unsealing, court-ordered, all of Justin and the Wayfarer party's text change and email chains. So when is enough for you? When are you going to stop? It's just absolutely insane. And in a lot of these text messages, they're saying they're defending themselves against you and your husband's smear campaign. So which is it? You started a smear campaign, they defended themselves, and you were like, you know what? Our smear campaign didn't work, so let's project that Justin Baldoni started a smear campaign. Yeah, because we did it, so of course they did it too. Girl, be for real. And if it didn't have to do with getting the rights to all of the rest of the books and the entire franchise of It Ends With Us, then why do you need documents and communications concerning obtaining the rights to adapt the novel of It Ends With Us, and It Starts With Us, from January 19th, 2019 to the present? I thought this was a very interesting question raised on Twitter from TV and Movie Addict. And yeah, I have the same question. If it's not about obtaining the rights to the books, why do you need this information? You didn't sign on until December of 2022 and officially launch until January of 2023. So why do you need any documents and communications about how they obtained the rights to the books? Answer me that, Blakesky. And I have two questions as well to pose to everyone here. One concerning the smear campaign, the untraceable smear campaign. My question is a smear campaign, or whatever Blake is saying, a retaliatory smear campaign, would suggest that something be negative and false and that they would be pumping out lies and untruths about Blake. And if Jed Wallace was just boosting positive content, would that be considered a smear because all he's doing is boosting positive content about Justin? And on the same front, I wonder if it's still considered a smear if all they're doing is boosting and liking already occurring from content creators, already occurring from real people. If they're just boosting those negative opinions about Blake Lively, is that a smear as well? Because that was done organically, so all they're doing is liking and commenting things that were already publicly available. So it's not like I think they created and seeded and manipulated and put out all of this stuff. I think it was just already available and they were monitoring it and, maybe giving it a little nudge, nudge, wink, wink, if even that, because Jed Wallace has already come out and said he told them not to do nothing because they didn't have to. And my second question, something that I've been thinking since this whole Brian Freeman's come in and she's trying to really say that not only Brian Freeman, but his entire law firm, okay? Freeman, Cooley, Liner, LLP is part of the smear campaign. My question is when she filed her second amended complaint and filed all of these things against Brian Freeman for sanctions and to have him removed from the case, and they cited all of the times that he defamed Blake by making public statements as an attorney for his clients, they never brought up the fact about Taylor Swift and how he said that he was subpoenaing Venable, Taylor Swift's lawyers, because on information and belief, Blake Lively and her lawyer, Michael Gottlieb, were doing some really shady things. So it's very interesting that then, if that's not true, and at that time they put up a whole hoo-ha about it, about how he did that only for PR, and Judge Lyman was on board. He had that stricken. That whole letter was stricken because he said it wasn't proper for that case. It shouldn't be on the docket. It was improper use of the docket. And it was a PR stunt. Well, now that they're trying to say that Brian Freeman is acting more as a PR agent than a lawyer, why aren't they bringing that up? Because you would think that would be their biggest thing, right? Just been making me think about that a lot and making me think that probably it's because it was true. But without any further ado, let's go into first some answers from Justin Baldoni to the amended complaint that I found very interesting. And then we're going to go into these text chains. And then Blake Lively is at it again with this discovery of documents, okay, that they didn't hand over everything and blah, 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 blah. In the courts yesterday, I believe it was yesterday. Yes, it was. It was filed on the 13th that hit the court docket yesterday. They had an answer from all of the Wayfair defendants, all separately to Blake Lively's second amended complaint. We're only going to go over Justin Baldoni's because they're all pretty much the same and say, you'll see. So this is defendant Justin Baldoni's answer to plaintiff's second amended complaint and jury trial demanded. And we're not going to go over the entirety of it, but I found that there were some very specific things that I wanted to talk about and look into while I was reading it. So this is just answering the allegations in paragraph 1 of the complaint. You'll see that what they do a lot is just deny all the allegations and or say we don't have enough information on it, because how am I supposed to know if other people were texting Blake Lively or Blake Lively was texting other people? How am I supposed to know any of the stuff that she's alleging? I can't defend myself against things that I don't have any information about. So what they did here, and in every single one, is they went point by point by point from Blake Lively's amended complaint and countered every single point that she put in her little thingy, okay, into her complaint. So they just say, answering the allegations in paragraph 3 of the complaint, defendant admits that Baldoni has written books, hosted podcasts, and delivered TED Talks relating to male advocacy for feminism. As to all the remaining allegations, defendant denies such allegations. Answering the allegations in paragraph 4 of the complaint, defendant admits that the quoted news articles contain the text quoted therein. Defendant denies all of the remaining allegations in the paragraph and specifically denies that the articles and their context are characterized accurately in the complaint. And they do that with a lot of the answers, as you'll see. Defendant denies, defendant denies, defendant denies, defendant denies. Answering the allegations in paragraph 12 of the complaint, defendant denies that Angie Giannotti shared alleged concerns from a cast member to defendant. As to all remaining allegations, defendant lacks knowledge or information sufficient to form a belief about the truth of such allegations. That has to do with here, Paragraph 12, where Blake Lively states in her complaint, over the following 3 days in May of 2023, another female cast member reported her own concerns regarding Mr. Baldoni's unwelcome behavior to both Miss Giannotti and one of the film's producers. Notwithstanding that female cast member's considerable reservations, With coming forward, she nonetheless spoke up and conveyed her feelings that the work on the film was suffering as a result of Mr. Baldoni's behavior. Miss Giannatti shared those concerns with Wayfarer. But as you see here, Justin Baldoni on record is saying that he denies that Ann Giannatti shared any alleged concerns from a cast member to the defendant. So Angie Giannatti, to the front, please. We need answers on this one, and I'm sure it will come out in deposition as well as at trial, and they'll have some things to say on who is lying, okay? Answering the allegations in paragraph 13 of the complaint, defendant admits that Baldoni sent a text message acknowledging certain concerns by an actress on the film and stating that they would be addressed appropriately. Defendant denies all remaining allegations and specifically denies that the communication and its context are characterized accurately in the complaint, including to the extent that the complaint suggests that the communication related to a complaint of sexual harassment or misconduct. And that is here when on number 13, where Blake said on June 1st, 2023, Mr. Baldoni responded to that female cast member in writing, acknowledging that he was aware of the concerns and adjustments would be made. Somebody's lying. Answering the allegations in paragraph 16 of the complaint, defendant admits that it agreed to 17 demands from Lively, including the all-hands meeting and the hiring of Todd Black. As to all the remaining allegations in the paragraph, defendant denies such allegations. Answering the allegations in paragraph 17 of the complaint, the allegations require no response because they merely state a legal conclusion, which is here in Blake Lively's point number 17. Another provision required that an experienced producer, Todd Black, be brought in to oversee production and ensure that the requested productions were adhered to for the safety of all cast and crew members. Was it for all cast and crew members, Blake, or was it because you were super difficult? I would say the latter, because you were super difficult. And you'll see a lot of the answers do say this. Yeah, we sent those text messages, but it's not saying what you're saying it's saying, right? So answering the allegations in paragraph 18 of the complaint, defendant admits that the allegations that it sent communications containing the text set forth in that paragraph. Defendant lacks knowledge or information sufficient to form a belief as to the allegations relating to a communication purportedly sent by Giannatti to Lively. Defendant denies all of the remaining allegations in the paragraph and specifically denies that the communications and their context are characterized accurately in the complaint. Answering the allegations in paragraph 19 of the complaint, defendant admits that a meeting took place on January 4th and that the attendees of the meeting included Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Giannatti, Alex Sachs, Todd Black, Lively, and Ryan Reynolds. As to all the remaining allegations, defendant denies such allegations. And you best believe we're getting back into that meeting on January 4th, okay? Right after this. You're a monster, Blake. You're a monster, okay? I haven't met this kind of absolute sociopathic, powerful behavior, like seeing it with my own eyes, like you and your husband. I mean, it's been brought to light. And I think in the year of 2025, more light needs to be shined onto the dark monsters that are allowed to get away with this kind of behavior, because Justin and Wayfarer, bless their souls. And we'll get into that after this, I promise. And then we go into like, they just deny all the allegations. As to the remaining allegations, deny. Then he does say, answering the allegations in paragraph 26 of the complaint, defendant admits that Steve Saroritz is the co-founder and co-chairman of defendant. As to the remaining allegations, defendant denies such allegations. Defendant denies. Defendant admits it retained Melissa Nathan and the agency group, and that Nathan made communications containing the text set forth in that paragraph. Defendant denies all of the remaining allegations in the paragraph and specifically denies that the communications and their context are characterized accurately in the complaint. Deny. Answering the allegation in paragraph 42 of the complaint, defendant admits that Lively demanded that defendant issue a statement on or about August 12th, 2024. Defendant lacks knowledge or information sufficient to form a belief as to the truth of the allegations that Nathan sent communications containing the text set forth in that paragraph. As to all remaining allegations, defendant denies such allegations. Well, paragraph 42, let's look at that. Paragraph 42 says defendants have admitted that on August 12, 2024, in the midst of a massive sentiment shift on social media that was engulfing Miss Lively and others with a flood of negative comments, Wayfair was asked to issue a statement to help correct the situation by accepting accountability for the production it oversaw. But rather than doing so, Miss Nathan advised that issuing such a statement could be a career killer for Mr. Baldoni, who she urged to lawyer up and fight, as anybody would tell him to do. I love that she calls it, what does she call it? I think it's so funny. A statement. Issue a statement. No, it's literally an apology because you and your husband failed at marketing. Answering the allegations in paragraph 45 of the complaint, defendant lacks knowledge or information sufficient to form a belief about the truth of the allegations that a female cast member texted Lively on or about August 14th. As to all remaining allegations, defendant denies such allegations. And then also you'll see a lot of this where it's just they can't really answer anything because there's no response to be given because they merely state a legal conclusion. However, if it is required that they respond, they deny all allegations. Here in paragraph 73 of Blake Lively's complaint, where she's trying to really prove New York, right? Because this was all about bringing Jed Wallace back to New York and how everything happened in New York, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. In this one post here, she writes that they, among other things, had communications with content creators, it's right here, media entities of New York, including at least one journalist at the New York Post and another at the New York Times. Justin Baldoni says, answering the allegations in paragraph 73 of the complaint, defendant admits that it contracted with Jones Works for certain communications and public relations services, and that defendant has alleged that it had a contract with the New York Times. As to all the remaining allegations, defendant denies such allegations. So no content creators, nobody else, they did talk with the New York Times. Blake Lively, you gave them all of the text messages. This is how this whole thing started. You can't cry about them talking to journalists when you were the one that went to the New York Times. They even said they were provided with thousands of pages of text messages. They were the one that defined this as a smear campaign. You use social manipulation. They came up with the smear campaign. So you started this whole thing with the journalist. It's so wild. I think this is a little cheeky here for paragraph 82. Answering the allegations in paragraph 82 of the complaint, defendant admits that Lively called Baldoni a sociopath. As to all the remaining allegations, defendant denies such allegations, which is so funny because that is here on the dance montage. So in all of 82, when she's explaining this whole made up story about this whole dance montage, what he says is that, yes, he agrees that she called him a sociopath. And then they go into like Blake Lively's state of mind, where they just keep saying, honestly, defendant lacks knowledge or information sufficient to form a belief about the truth of such allegations with respect to Lively's state of mind. They can't answer any questions about Lively's state of mind at the time, although I'm sure they would probably say that she's a psychopath and deranged and insecure with a massive ego and on a power trip and wants to take control of everything and be on the top so that she can shine just as bright as her ex-best friend, Taylor Swift, and her probably, if I'm assuming anything, ex-husband, Ryan Reynolds, because he has been leaving her out to dry after being the one to drag her into this mess. Classic. This in blue is where I thought it was pretty interesting because he is explicitly saying, and remember they said that they have all of this shot on B-roll and on camera. Okay, they never cut the cameras. This was all captured on video. Plus, think of all the witnesses around, all of not only the other actors, and I'm not talking about Isabella Ferrer and the man beater Jenny Slate. I'm talking about all of the PAs, the personal assistants, the production assistants, the first, second, third AD, the camera crew, the lighting, the grips, the makeup, the craft services, the extras, etc., etc., etc. He explicitly is saying, answering the allegation in paragraph 100 of the complaint, defendant denies that Baldoni personally described Lively as sexy out of character. Because remember, she's saying she had her onesie on with the big jacket and he wanted her to take it off because it would be so sexy. Ugh, whatever. but then in the next breath was fat shaming her and insulting her. It's just so crazy. I think in that scene, she was more mad that he called for a toothpick for her because she had something in her teeth, but I wasn't there. I wasn't there. Even though Jamie Heath himself has said it seems like the woman was there with them. Wasn't there. Then basically they're just saying, they're answering all of the paragraphs and like they can't to have any idea of the respect to Lively's state of mind and her communications with third parties. How are they supposed to know that she's texting other co-stars or female co-stars or back and forth with anybody else? Then when it comes to the naturopath, I believe, or the person to help Blake Lively with her strep throat, who Justin so kindly connected, that doctor or naturopath or whoever she is, she also helps people with weight loss. Well, Blake Lively saw that in the pamphlet, weight loss, and automatically was like, whoa, oh my God, fat shaming me. When in reality, naturopaths can help with a variety of different things, right? Justin Baldoni is saying that he admits that he offered to connect Lively with an expert to help with probiotics in response to a strep throat infection. As to all the remaining allegations, he denies those allegations because that is just bonkers, bananas, crazy, delulu, insane, nuts, liar, liar, pants on fire. He also says that he did receive the 17-point demand on November 9th of 2023, so no denying that that was brought forward by Blake Lively's attorneys. I think, yeah. So what's really funny is she went to her lawyers to draft the 17-point demand, but then in the meeting that they had Ryan Reynolds, no lawyer. You know, the same meeting that either Todd Black or Angie Giannotti said that they wanted to quit. We're assuming it's Todd Black, but we still don't know, that they wanted to quit. And I believe it's going to be Todd Black because Angie Giannotti was on the entire time. So Todd Black, in his 30 plus years of producing, had never seen anyone speak to another person in a business meeting the way Ryan Reynolds attacked Justin Baldoni on that January 4th meeting, and they had to pay him 2 times the amount to stay. But, you know, she was able to have her counsel draft it up and send it to Wayfair, but not be in the meeting. That's so weird. So he does say that, you know, the film's trailer was released on May 16th. As to the remaining allegations, he lacks knowledge or sufficient information to form a belief about the truth of any allegations coming from Blake. Answering the allegations in paragraph 167 of the complaint, Justin Baldoni admits that the film grossed more than $350 million. That the linked video quotes Steve Soritz is making the quoted remarks, and that Wayfair promoted the film's addition to Netflix. As to the remaining allegations, the allegations require no response because they merely state a legal conclusion. To the extent that any of the allegations in the paragraph require a response, defendant denies such allegations and specifically denies that the article and its context are characterized accurately in the complaint. And that's just here where Blake Lively thought that she'd be really snooty and get one on them. And says, the irony of Wayfair's complaint should be lost on no one. It was Mr. Soritz, Mr. Baldoni, and Mr. Heath that have reaped the greatest financial benefits from Miss Lively's hard work about which they now complain. Shut up. Oh, shut up. Oh, God. Girl's getting a little sassy here. Maybe I didn't get it all out of me. Find the positive. Find the love. Find the positive. Then for the rest of the stuff, he does say that the information is sufficient to form a belief as to the state of mind of cast members other than himself, Justin Baldoni. He doesn't have knowledge about that. So he can't really say about any of the other cast members following him, unfollowing him, blah, 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 following Blake, choosing that. We all know why. Sklenar, Batman. Isabel Ferrer was groomed, given clothes, shopping trips, sleepovers, etc., etc., etc. Jenny Slate is not a good woman, and she beats men, period. That's all I have to say about the cast. And we already know that the other cast member gave Justin Baldoni an award in December. So if it was not bad, why would he show up and give him an award? Hassan is his name. So those are the 4 cast members. So, I mean, Pretty clear as day there. Then he does get into a few things, obviously, back to back to back. They're responding to every single thing. Answering the allegation in paragraph 222 of the complaint, defendant admits that TAG erroneously stated in its answer to Lively's initial complaint that TAG retained Wallace. As to all the remaining allegations, defendant lacks knowledge or information sufficient to form a belief as to the truth. And then he does agree that there are, like the Hollywood Reporter article contained the text that she put in her response. The Daily Mail article contained the text, but he denies all the allegations other than that. And this is where it gets juicy, because he is on record saying, answering the allegations in paragraph 244 of the complaint, Justin Baldoni denies any campaign designed to harm Lively and conceal Baldoni's conduct on set. As to the remaining allegations in the paragraph, defendant lacks knowledge or information. But he's saying straight up that no, he did not have any campaign to harm Lively and conceal his own poor behavior. Then in paragraph 300, Justin Baldoni, the defendant, invokes the attorney-client privilege as to the allegations relating to communications between itself and its attorney. And this is right here in Blake's paragraph 300. On information and belief, defendants approved and authorized Mr. Freeman to publish the above quoted statements as their agent. And Mr. Freeman would not have published the statements for their approval and authorization. Yeah, of course. They wanted him to publish a whole bunch of stuff about you because you're cray, and delusional. And they want the truth out there. And Brian Freeman, defending his clients, has a right to do that. Brian Freeman, this isn't his first time being pulled in for defamation, okay? Actually, the lawyer for Isabella Ferreira has tried to come after Brian Freeman for defamation before. It's a whole little circle of people here. And because we went over Lively's amended complaint in detail, you know that it's repeated a lot of stuff. Like, it repeats a lot of stuff like 3 or 4 times. I think she just wanted to get like a word count in. But they do answer many times about the TED Talk, because you know how she liked to use Justin Baldoni's words against him. And he does say that, yes, he presented a TED Talk, which he delivered remarks containing the text forth in the paragraph. Defendant denies all of the remaining allegations in the paragraph and specifically denies that the remarks and their context are characterized accurately in the complaint. Answering the allegations in paragraph 343 of the complaint, defendant denies the allegation that it conducted any campaign against Lively or any of her businesses. As to the remaining allegation, defendant lacks knowledge, So there was no campaign against you. Like, they had scenario planning. They had proper PR like anybody would have in this case after you took over the movie. First of all, your behavior on set, baby girl. No. Name me an actress that would act like that. You wacko doodle crazy. And second, how well you did in post-production, all the way up until stealing the movie and showing it at Book Bonanza. You replaced them at Book Bonanza, number one. You showed a cut of the movie that was not approved by Sony or Wayfair. And then you had them sit in a basement at the premiere. What did you think? They were just going to sit on their hands and do nothing? Of course they had scenario planning. Of course they were ready. Of course, because you and your husband are psychopaths. Then here, defendant denies that allegations that Baldoni, Heath, or any of the defendants sought to destroy Lively or any other person, okay? They completely deny that they sought to destroy you or any other person. And then they have all of these defenses against her, like first defense, second defense, like all of these defenses, and they're all really good defenses. The 9th defense said plaintiff has failed to undertake reasonable measures to mitigate the damages she claims to have incurred. They have so many causes of defenses here. The 11th defense says plaintiff has not been damaged in any amount alleged or in any amount whatsoever and is not entitled to any general compensatory, statutory, punitive, or other damages or any other relief as a result of any of the allegations set forth in the complaint. The 14th defense says the damages and injuries, if any, suffered by plaintiff were directly and proximately caused solely by the acts or omissions of individuals or entities other than defendants. Yeah, your husband, maximum effort. That's it. You, your husband, period. Okay? Y'all did this to yourself. 15th, 16th defense. The 16th defense says solely by the intentional misconduct of individuals or entities other than the defendant. Yeah, you're in this, like, come on. 18th, 19th, they have 20 defense. Oh my God. They say that she didn't bring the causes of action alleged in the complaint in a timely manner. There's the 21st defense, 22nd. You see what I'm saying here? 25th defense. Like, they're like, no. In the 25th defense, it does say any injury or damage to plaintiff which defendant specifically denies was proximately caused by the negligence of the plaintiff. Then we get here to the reservation of additional defenses. So defendant presently has insufficient knowledge or information on which to form a belief as to whether it may have additional, as yet unstated, affirmative or other defenses available. Defendant reserves the right to assert additional defenses in the event that discovery indicates they would be appropriate. Prayer for relief. Prayer for relief for Justin Baldoni, that the complaint be dismissed with prejudice and plaintiff take nothing herein. That's best case scenario. Let's just go. Dismiss this whole thing. It's just ridiculous at this point. That judgment be entered in favor of defendant and against plaintiff for cost of suit incurred in this action, and for such other and further relief as the court may deem just and proper. Demand for jury trial. Defendant demands a jury trial on all causes of action so trivial. I hope you get the relief that you're looking for, Mr. Justin Baldoni. Now we're going to get into some juicy stuff. Y'all remember how last week and this week I was showing you all of these things that were presented in the court earlier in the week, but they were all redacted and under seal. I'm just going to go up to the date here. Remember all the 63 attachments, 63 exhibits that was sent in August 5th? Well, they've been resubmitted and they are not under seal anymore. And this is coming from Blake Lively's team, okay? This is a letter addressed to Judge Lyman from Michael Gottlieb. This is the redacted copies pursuant to the order. So the judge ordered them to refile them, not under seal, but redact the personal information. I can't believe the audacity that they have to themselves show this and still think that they can continue with this lawsuit. Yes, I went through every single exhibit and pulled all of the relevant information and looked through everything. And knowing what I know now after reading this and what you will now know, Blake Lively has known and has read and still has the audacity to blinders on and be like, no, smear, retaliatory, blah, 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 blah. What? First of all, the secondhand embarrassment I feel for Blake Lively, because she was like the butt of everyone's joke for so long because she was such a monster on set. But then it's like shocking and surprising, but not surprising also, because you knew that they were scared of you. You knew that they had text messages in here that literally say they're defending against your smear campaign. You've known, and still? Girl, bye. Let's look at these exhibits and y'all can just judge for yourself. And I'm sure, because I've only read them today, once I go back and start reading a bunch of the stuff again, I'll find some Easter eggs and I'll find some lies, of course, and some contradictions from also Blake Lively's own words, of course, because, she's saying that she didn't receive a lot of the documents and there's things missing and now she's pushing for more. This is all you need. These are all you need to see. And it's crazy that people are trying to spin this the way that they're trying to spin it. The Blake skis. And yes, we will get to the juicy ones where Justin Baldoni pours his heart out about going into that meeting and going face to face with Blake and Ryan. And we all know how that went. But in due time, I know that's the biggest headlines right now and everyone's running to it. But there is more. Okay, so let's start here with Exhibit 17. This is a text change between 3 recipients, Brianna Kozlow and Tatiana Siegel and somebody else. And this says, hi, starting Signal where I'll share more emails and texts. KK, you started this chat with bleep. And then she says, okay, this first batch is a series of text messages with the date starting on August 12th. I blurred out some stuff that isn't relevant, but shows us communicating on the organic pickups and how we weren't doing anything. And the text, any update from Leslie Sarah, is Sarah at New York Post, who Leslie had called trying to pitch a negative story about Justin, sending another batch shortly. Wait a second, because didn't Blake Lively... Let me pull this up because it's just coming to me right now. Give me a second, please. Oh yes, here it is, Blake. I will find you in every lie that you've ever told. Here it is, right here. Moreover, Miss Lively expressly instructed her publicist, Leslie Sloan, not to engage with press inquiries, including ones regarding on-set behavior, Mr. Baldoni, Mr. Heath, or Wayfarer. In other words, Miss Lively's instructions to her publicist were the opposite of a smear or exposing him, even while she believed he was behind the attacks on her, Mr. Reynolds, blah, 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 blah. And then there's these texts, and I said that these are just screenshots and could be completely manipulated because they're not pulled from an extraction. Right? That says, Blake Lively, please don't say anything. It's very important not to speak to nobody. Interesting, because we have in real time, this was on December 21st, where it says that Leslie Sloan tried to pitch a negative story about Justin, sending another batch shortly. And I just want to zoom in if I can on what these text. Let's see if I can get to them. And it says it's a text change here where it says, WTF, someone has to tell them to grow up. They promoted a movie about domestic violence as if it was a really silly rom-com. What did they expect? You did. Cut it out. And then they go on. They should be told back that we have stuff too. Like this. Like this. Die, I think that says. We do big story on bullying and breaking strike. And he releases text messages with her. Yep, 100%. So it says, I know this is also because of us and Leslie Sloan telling me. I was the one that did Team JD and bots. To be honest, though, the tides were already turning. We saw that. Jed didn't come on until when? Thursday? Yep. So it was already happening without Jed Wallace. Jed didn't come on until what? Thursday? Yep. We didn't tell Jed to go after the idea that her promo was inappropriate. That happened organically because people saw the actual movie and were like, wait, this movie is about domestic violence? That they were about florals too? Zoe sent me this on Saturday and goes, this is crazy. Way to market this movie. And then it's Blake's own Instagram of, the wear your florals, grab your besties, wear your florals. Like, come on, we had nothing to do with that. This is crazy. She doesn't have a good reputation. All of this is organic stuff from real people making TikToks, not bots. Exactly. It was just comments. I'd be like, oops, but it's not, LOL. I mean, I wish some of this was us, LOL. Ha ha ha, exactly. I wish some of this was us, they're saying. It wasn't. It was organic from real people, not bots. They're literally saying this in the text messages, Blake. I hate feeling stuck and not having anything to counter these stories because there is bad stories coming out. They want him to put out an effing statement. Do they know about what yet, though? Like what specifically he's meant to be apologizing for? No idea still. Does the Justin team want us to try and fight these? It says down here. Does the Justin team want us to try and fight these fighting on set headlines? They're so cautious, but they're speak to Baldoni. I can't get a read. Just landing, had no Wi-Fi. Will landing in 20 minutes. Can you check in on the thread with just Jen and Matthew, not Jamie? Geez, have 70 texts. And then new text here. Yes, please. Any new movement on JB update from Sarah Leslie so we can keep across? I'd like to start prepping materials if he's going to be obliterated on Sunday. Yes, agreed. So we can prepare heading into weekend. Right. So if he's going to get obliterated by Ryan and Blake, they wanted to be prepared. The next one is where I call her Leslie Dart instead of Sloan, but it is timestamped from August when we got the news. There are sensitivities of Sarah and Melissa being sisters, but we've never given any favors with her. That's from Brianna Coslow. Exactly. So there's rumors going on that Melissa and Sarah Nathan work together. Melissa Nathan's sister works for the New York Post, but again, they even state with each other, we've never given any favors with her. And this is where they're talking about the premiere of the night. Do you want to chat quickly before 11 a.m.? I just bumped up Doc Zoe put together. Do not suggest any world where there would be 2 separate screening rooms. Is there any chance to negotiate separate entrances at the premiere? Would she really ruin this moment for everyone else? Yeah, she would, and she did. Seems the only scenario is either premiere is canceled or he doesn't go. If he doesn't go, we need to get ahead of it. Oh, gosh, this is so painful to read. We need to get ahead of it stronger and position as potential boycott and balance of power as narrative. If no premiere at all, still need to get ahead of it and put perhaps in a softer way, weaving in messaging about difficulties and lessons. Either way, we have to think that she's inevitably going to come out at some point, whether subtly or blatantly. I'm so sorry. This has totally blown up. I don't think I can do the walkthrough. Of course, I figured it's dump anyway. Are you okay? Not really, LOL. No, not a dumb question. I can share with her if you want, or Alex should. Yes, please. This was the first piece of press that broke in August that was done by her team. I'll send short emails of engaging with reporters and stating there was no comment from our end. So the first thing that came out in August was done by Blake Lively's team. Let's remember this. Blake Lively's team. This is what is in the text messages that Blake Lively has put into the court. Okay, so she already knew. And then again here, sorry, this was the original story by Sarah, who had been contacted by Leslie. Date is August 9th of story. Our text messages dating August 1st discuss how Leslie reached out to Sarah. Oh, that's so interesting, Blake, because didn't you say that Leslie Sloan didn't talk to nobody? Then here you have text between Nathan and Melissa. I assume, yes, Melissa Nathan. Same. Has Leslie bothered you as of late today? No, she's completely ignoring me now because she knows that she's doing this. Then they go in on December 21st. Okay, I'm going to review all of these in a couple hours. Then Tatiana says, this is getting crazier by the minute. Any truth to this deadline story, which WME wouldn't confirm that Justin has been dropped by WME? I believe it is true. Crazy. I just got back from shopping and someone on web team asked me to try to confirm. WME saying nothing, but you would know just as well. I know it's crazy, but also confirming that the texts I share are also just off the record for now for review. I just want to make sure my colleague Katie's name isn't referred to as we're not named in the claim. Brian is our lawyer on this, who said he wants to chat with you as well. Confirmed off the record, and yes, happy to talk to Brian off the record. Are there any plans to sue her? I think Brian can speak further to that for sure because I'm not 100% KK. Well, guess what? There was plans until Judge Lyman tossed them out the window. Next, Exhibit 20. And there's a lot of exhibits here, but I've just pulled what I think are like, you know, the good ones that prove Justin Baldoni and Wayfair are completely innocent and they were just defending themselves, and Blake has had the proof now and still is continuing. This is from Melissa Nathan. There's Jennifer Abel, Melissa Nathan. And then it says, could you send me his email just so I can say thank you for the call because I feel like I was a little bit flippant due to the bug flowing in my hair. I'm dead. Are you available? I'm on with Jamie and we need to fill you in on something that's fairly urgent. I'm right mid-Nova walkthrough surrounded by PR. And Danny is dgreenberg at wmeagency.com. I can call in 15. Is that okay? Okay, just give us a ring when you're somewhere quiet. I will. Katie Warren just called me, LOL. Oh my God. Katie Warren, who are you? Let's look that up real quick. Katie Warren is a reporter for the Business Insider. Okay, so now we know. So Katie Warren from the Business Insider just called her. This is on August 12th. So this is just days after the premiere. Oh my God, like I can't deal with this today. Ha ha ha. Like the actual FUCK. What in the craziest shit I've heard? A statement? I've done a lot of stuff and I don't think I've ever heard something like this before. Ever. Seriously, ever. I'm nearly home to write this email, but I'm so confused. Then they put in some Daily Mail article that criticizes Isabel Ferrer's style with the movie It Ends With Us. Brian has no conflict, I asked him. Ashley doesn't, but she's hesitant as a firm to take on WME if it comes to that. Whereas Brian isn't. Yes, there you go. Brian Freeman is not scared to take you guys on, is not scared of Ari Emanuel, and is not scared of WME, okay? Which is all tied into Leslie Sloan, Ari Emanuel, Stephanie motherfucking Jones, Ryan Reynolds, and Blake Lively all together. And I'm sure they tried to use all of their dragons, including Tay Swizzy, okay, to literally ruin these people's lives because she wanted the rights to the rest of the movie is insane. Plus, he's representing a lot of women, so plays there in terms of recent clients, all women. Yes, good. So that's great. It's so funny. I actually recommended Brian and Steph was the one who shut that down. LOL. Interesting. Stephanie motherfucking Jones turned down getting Brian Freeman involved. I wonder why. Interesting. Well, I would say is whatever shuts down, literally do the opposite. Well, I would say is whatever she shuts down, literally do the opposite. Yes, please. Because we already know that girl she's not right in the head. Stephanie Jones, we're here because of Stephanie Jones today. Because Blake Lively, Stephanie Jones, and Leslie Sloan all scorned women. That's why we're here today. It's absolutely bonkers. Then they laughed at it. I'm flying to Puerto Rico in a hurricane. Then they talk about they're in a hurricane. LOL. Baloney asked about Baha'i faith. Oh boy, what did he say? Just to confirm that Justin's partner with Wayfarer of the same congregation, Jamie sidestepped it as well. But interesting. Numbers don't lie. 50 million box office, no matter what. Blake and Ryan want Justin to put out a statement. This is unbelievable. Call if you can. Career killer for them. And Wayfarer, no, have to fight. At what point do you fight? It's now. Lawyer up now. This is so crazy. Honestly, I've never had anything like it. Can we please hire a lawyer? He needs to. He has one, but he needs a litigator. This was in August. Get Brian Freeman. He's waiting and will also take on WME. Can I start a signal thread with you, me, and Jed, just in case you need him to connect you to Brian because they're very close so that you can all have a conversation? Because apparently I might be dead soon. And then because she's like in Puerto Rico in the middle of a massive storm. And this is why I think the judge had said that, Jed Wallace and Brian Freeman, they were all like combined, and Blake Lively is trying to use the fact that they all knew each other, Melissa Nathan and Jed Wallace and Brian Freeman. I mean, when you work with someone that you like and respect and you guys all get along, you usually always use the same team of people. I can reach out to Brian too. We've worked together and oh my God, what is that? That's where you're going. No way. Anyway, they're talking about the storm. I don't know what to do, but yes, definitely contact him on Signal though. Feel free to add me, obviously, because of the crisis. I really, really strongly want you guys to hire today. There is no way you put out a statement. I don't know what you're answering to still. We just got them to agree to not do a letter. We are waiting to hear from Justin since he's in Sweden. Can you send me his number and I'll handle by Signal when I get the green light? I can't believe they haven't done this yet, as in hire a lawyer. Bruh, I would have hired a lawyer in pre-production when Ryan Reynolds screamed at me first thing. The movie didn't even start. I would have put out a statement, hired a lawyer, and fired Blake Lively. Pre-production, the star's husband is screaming at me. Ain't no way. In this exhibit, it is a chat, a little text change between Justin Baldoni, Melissa Nathan, Jen Abel, a bunch of other people that are redacted still. This is Melissa Nathan saying, so sorry, Justin Baldoni. I'm on a closed set. This is August 15th. I'm free later when we finish, though. No worries, quickly. My partner, Steve, asked about flipping the narrative from this leak this AM about Ryan saying script was a disaster and he saved the movie. So there were leaks, again, coming from who? Yeah, Blake Lively's camp, okay? So actually, it's working on our favor. Ryan Reynolds looks like the worst and continues to play into that narrative of them being awful. It's playing good for us, bad for them. meaning do nothing. We don't have to put out a statement. We don't have to counter anything because it's actually through their own actions and Blake Lively coming out and just saying that her husband wrote the iconic rooftop scene. People weren't liking that because number one, he's a scab. He was writing during the writer's strike. Number two, he's not a writer. There was a woman writing the script that he took it over from and did rewrites. And number three, he had no business with his hands in this production at all. So what Melissa Nathan is saying in this text is like, we don't got to do nothing. It's already working in our favor. Justin Baldoni writes, to something about Ryan claiming the female hired was feminist writer, didn't know how to tackle a female film, etc., using their own words against them. So somewhere along the way, Ryan Reynolds must have said something like this, okay? And I probably think that he did because it's Ryan Reynolds, okay? And Blake Lively. Blake Lively herself says that she is a toxic masculine. Blake Lively was asked what's her favorite comedy, and she said Shawshank Redemption. Blake Lively was asked in an interview also, what characters of Sex and the City does she relate to the most? And she said the men, okay? So don't get me started on how probably Ryan Reynolds never said this. Please. And I'm sure Blake relayed this to Justin Baldoni. This is an easy flip, he says. But Tatiana Siegel from Variety wants to do a follow-up call with us for a story similar. We'll get a call with her later. Justin Baldoni. And the fact that they saved the script from what they think is a disaster after we had a green lit script and was a strike basically implies they were scabs, which we should 100% lead them to. Oh, that bit I'm all over. It's a man coming in to say this female writer sucks and I need to save it. Let him drown in his own pool, and doing it while there was a strike. Do you know how good it is to see Justin Baldoni finally stand up to these monsters? Finally, because all we've seen through his own CRD as well as through Blake is that he just let them have whatever they wanted. So it's good that now, finally after the premiere, and now this is days after the premiere. This is when everyone was like, where's Justin? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. People unfollowed him. They were sleuthing the way internet does, okay? It's finally good that he's like, you know what? I was in the basement of a freaking premiere and I'm ready to fight, and we're going to fight. I love this. I love that he was thinking of all these ways that he can use their own story. Like, he's not making things up. He's literally using real experiences to push out. Nothing was fake. Nothing was lies. Nothing was false. There is no truce here. Someone should tell his team that we are ready to fight if they keep leaking this shit. I mean, Danny G, it's going to be bad for them. Legal shit. I'm ready. Yes, I am ready, he says. And ready he was. So they have been preparing for this battle since August. Our lawyers is prepped and ready. Then you have Jen Abel saying, hi, sorry, out of a meeting. Justin, the Ryan Reynolds story came out yesterday, I believe, and incurred further backlash. Media is already calling us about the scab issue. That's what Melissa is talking about for Tatiana Siegel, who is a big film writer. That's the story she's interested in. We need to be smart about how we hit back. Danny G has already communicated this, and his and her teams have been notified. I don't want to lose sight on what the actual issues are. I know with everyone texting you, Justin, and sending you negative press, it feels like it's building, but it's actually not. The overall narrative is still very pro-Justin. I like Tatiana doing a larger piece on how problematic Blake and Ryan's comments are to the unions. He writes, okay. So it was already happening. They didn't have to do nothing. The story was already out there. Justin's like, hey, how about this? Can we do this? How about we talk about how we took over the script and rewrote the script? The story already dropped. So they didn't have to say nothing. Moving on. Moving on up to the spirit in the sky. Why do I got that song in my head all of a sudden? It's a good song. You guys probably have no idea what I'm talking about because I am a little bit beat and tone deaf, but it's a good song. This is a short message report. This is one conversation, and it has 5 recipients. This is when the story broke that, oh my God, Justin Baldoni hired PR crisis, Melissa Nathan. And then, of course, was like, the same PR expert that defended Johnny Depp. Who leaked that? Blake Lively. And then Melissa Nathan says, and Katie Case, God, are people even that interested in this? Melissa Nathan, I can't work out if this means she wants to run. They hired us, or am I being paranoid? She's definitely trying to run that he hired us. For fuck's sakes, Katie, you're normaling the normal one. I thought Carolyn wrote that, but it was you. Now I can't tell her. I sort of think it is. A story about hiring us. LOL, no, but it's probably going to be something like innocent people don't hire crisis PR firms. I'm sorry, I know that I'm usually optimistic, but my read on that is that it's a story about him hiring us. We have to ask her for more context. It does read like that. Then they go on to say, yep, it's all about me/us. Oh no, is it definitely running? Why do people keep doing this? What did she say? Did you call her? I mean, imagine going through this level of stress, okay? Then they say, right here, this is 100% Leslie. Leslie who? Leslie Sloan, Blake's PR agent. The one that Blake said was told not to talk to nobody. So like, what? I want to know what dirt this woman has on herself and who would know. Yeah, we need more dirt on Leslie Sloan, if I'm being honest. Emphasized, that's also major shots fired. Melissa Nathan, you're on phone, but is story just on Justin hiring us or broader? Then they post the story. What the hell is going on? Josh texted her for me. Then they post the story. No, I know, but what is the actual story? There will be a story about the specifically or us in general. Us. In what capacity, though, did she say? He hired us. Also a big day for Johnny fucking Depp as legal story and also now PR story as he will probably be in it. Just so we can prepare. She's calling me back. I'm trying to lead this legal call. Can you patch me in when she calls? There's no Johnny Depp story. Camille is a one-trick pony who will carry on his name to her deathbed, and no one knows he's likely following her. Plus, he has no current legal situation, so it's a nothing. Melissa Nathan is a story running this week. What are updates? Yeah, the story ran, and you know what the story was? That he hired the same PR as Johnny Depp. Thanks, Leslie Sloan and Blake Lively. This is Exhibit 23. This is a short message report. It's one conversation, 63 messages with 4 participants. The date ranges from August 5th to August 6th. And in this text message, it is very interesting because it says from Scott, there is a separate thread for anything but great related to we have with Jones Works for some reason that you are aware that have nothing to do with me. Jen is there only a few more weeks, which is a real shame, especially for me, as she is the one that does the actual work and is really great. You and I need to discuss where you see this realistically going. Then Melissa Nathan says, he cannot expect us to work with Stephanie motherfucking Jones. I won't do it. No way. It's just not possible. Oh my gosh, wait. What if you use the Business Insider thing as a reason not to do it? This really showcases how little she can be trusted. I don't want her interacting with my team. We're working too hard and I'm worried about details being leaked internationally if there's a difference of opinion. It's so important to protect reputations, or is that too much? Working with Jen and Matthew is fine, but she can't be trusted. I have said that 500 times. Do you hear that, Stephanie Jones? Then there is a text message, I believe this is from Stephanie Jones, asking to join the premiere with them and that she would just step in the back. They're like, no, we have it, don't worry. And then Casey goes, I hope this is a nice reminder of how PR should work together and not just butt their way into any possible situation by force. Sure, but I still don't trust this woman as far as I can throw her. Absolutely not. She is not trustworthy. Not one bit. She didn't answer my text that speaks volumes. That's not good. She's also been an absolute idiot to go back on leaving. But in that case, you know where she stands. But also, she screenshot me some shit so you know. Oh, I know, but still. I'd be most embarrassed if I quit and then came back, but Stephanie Jones might have offered her tons of money or something. Have you and Melissa Z chatted about the press preview on the 14th? They've asked if Scooter can do it in the Nova spreadsheet, and I'm happy to check, but didn't want. If you've already discussed, defo check, migraine incoming. Oh my God, I have migraines too. I'm so sorry. As soon as I hear the word migraine, I'm like, girl, I feel ya. Then this was on August 6th. Is Jed doing anything on Justin? I'm having Zoe monitor, but it's not the same. LOL, not yet. They've not signed him on. Ugh, I wish they'd get a move on. All they care about is social right now, and we can't do anything about it. What are we supposed to do about a journalist calling her like, do your job, Jen? LOL. Jed and Brian asking me for a copy I just sent. Should be in your inbox. You need to get someone to help you with this. So if Zoe can say the sentiment is positive in this and negative in this, because she's obviously at the screening and can look at everything like that. I'll ask Zoe to specify, just trying to flag in real time like they've asked, but it's also more of the same. So at this point, this was on August 6th, they were still just monitoring, flagging any stories. This is Exhibit 28 for reference points. So this is some people that were posting, I guess, and they flagged it to Jed and his team. This was on August 8th. It looks like she took it down, but she still posted this. And I guess there's somebody posting a bunch of TikToks. I can't copy the thing in my browser, so maybe I'll have to look at that later. So this was someone that posted, Justin, the creator of a show called My Last Days, exploits the struggles of individuals facing blah, blah, blah. I can't really read it, but I guess it's just someone that posted on their Instagram story poorly about Justin Baldoni. I'm assuming this is not true in the slightest. This girl is on a very dangerous crusade to more followers. Either way, we flagged it to Jed and his team more serious actions on the social site. We'll monitor heavily for any shift in narrative seen based on this narrative regarding My Last Days and any commentary on it. Also, if this isn't true, and I'd let Melissa and Brianna chime in too, but this is ground for cease and desist or legal, pushing out some good press. Then here it says, FYI, we're pulling press for tomorrow. Not worth it with these local producers gunning for a comment. Let's keep an eye out for chatter. Then he's like, what is the language you're using? He's exhausted. We wrapped the screening at midnight and he has been going for a full week of junket and he will get back to them next time we are in the market. Okay, perfect. Let's connect first. I mean, there he could have just said something about Blake and Ryan and started something, but really they, you know. And they pull up some other TikToks about a woman who was on set with Justin during 5 Feet Apart and speaks to how wonderful Justin is. Beautiful interview, such an amazing story. Then they get a text asking for a comment from the Rolling Stones. Then they write, thank you, we will keep watch for break. Just interesting on how all these publications are still writing stories on speculation, even though there's been zero details given. Then they have a quote here. I suppose this is from Justin, where he says, every movie is a miracle. And then, of course, you're navigating complex personalities and trying to get everyone on the same page with the same vision. And mistakes are always made, but then you figure out how to move past them. He describes his directing style as a constant collaboration, for better or for worse. They talk about how the screenwriter Christy Hall was baffled. She appeared baffled by the claim that Ryan Reynolds contributed to the dialogue. It's picked up from People interview, but with a much more honest spin. Interesting thread going around about Ryan this morning. That was supposed rift is due to him pushing his way onto the movie, trying to overshadow It Ends With Us to boost Deadpool. We'll keep an eye, but wanted to flag overall. So these were all, they're just talking about things that are organically coming out, as you can see. The tides are swirling around Ryan now, for your information. Then they pull up quotes from Reddit articles that people are still Team Justin Baldoni. Thanks, Melissa. You spoke to her, right? She has nothing new. I'll let Melissa weigh in, but Colleen Hoover has gone private on TikTok. What is this? Let me see. If most of these things you can't even really see here. Let's see. There's no way I can read that. Exhibit 30. Then on December 2nd in this text thread, they said, To one of their employees, can you monitor for any mention of the Justin Baldoni It Ends With Us drama, please? We figured there'd be a resurgence towards the end of the year. Oh, well, they were right, because the New York Times dropped mid-December, ending of December. Then they just say yes. Then I guess there are some Instagrams and YouTube coming out where Katie was like, what in the actual F is this? Melissa, did Jed Wallace strike again? Riley, can you find the full clip, please? Then she sends it. I tried finding it. Can't find it. We'll see if it resurfaces again. Okay, no one panic. It's from 2 years ago. Email Daily Buzz Guy. Oh my God. Okay, phew. Yeah, and I just started an argument with Matthew Mitchell. Thanks, guys. LOL. Sorry, he posted it right now, so I immediately flagged. And then he says, yeah, why the F is he posting this right now? Well, I don't know why the hell he randomly posted this clip right now. Then they go on to like their mood, leave me alone to die. And a lot of these email threads, like I'm showing right now, they're not just monitoring and weren't just working for Justin Baldoni. They do this with all of their clients. As you can see here, they bring up other people. Dervia, Keely Hazel, there's like tons of people that they bring up that they're also monitoring as well on X and Instagram and everything. Like they have multiple clients that they do this for. So it wasn't just like a one-off with Justin Baldoni that they were doing the same work of monitoring socials and making sure that they were pro their client. That's the exact same thing that Leslie Sloan was doing for her client. Exhibit 35. Here we are. This is a conversation with many participants. This is from Justin Baldoni on January 2nd. Hey all, Happy New Year. Flying back to New Jersey Friday is day 1 of 17. I haven't seen Blake in person since the safety letter accusation. Feeling all sorts of things. She used the claim letter to gain power over the whole production. Trying to find my balance of captaining a ship and leading it while it's being held hostage. How to give her most of what she wants while maintaining some of my own vision. And starting Friday, acting and working with this person who can and will use anything she can against me. It's all scary, yet I know I have protection. Starting this thread again as I will need the emotional, spiritual support. Love you all. At the temple, we'll pray for you. Can you imagine? In phase 1, there was no sex scenes. There was no intimate scenes. They did one scene that Blake directed herself, and I think they just kissed. Can you imagine going into phase 2 and having to work with this person who has just accused you of all of this stuff? Absolutely, horrible, disgusting. How do you even work with someone like that? The fact that he even got through the movie is nutty. And Blake Lively's still sending all these text messages and still being all of this like kikiing with him in his face while behind the scenes doing all of this stuff. Shame, shame, shame. His friends say such a challenging issue, so difficult. I can't even imagine. Sending prayers, buddy. Just keep your focus on the service you are providing in the telling of this very important story. Adam Moonshin, who played the doctor that Blake Lively said was hired only to get close to her private parts because everyone wants to get close to Blake Lively's private part, says, so much love coming your way, brother. Your surrender to the greater will at work and the light and mercy hidden within these many tests is inspiring. You are not alone. You are seen and you are valued. My man, thank you, sir. I receive that. Love you all. Grateful I have a spiritual warrior by my side in Jamie. Then he says, so am I. Very grateful Jamie is with you. Thank you everyone for being such an incredible group of love and encouragement, truly. It will help us get to the finish line in ways that we can stand tall. Justin is 100% going to quarterback us to the win, no doubt. I'm humbled to be amongst all of you. It's the most heartbreaking chain of text, and a text coming from Justin that just, ugh. Number 37. This is a shorty, but this is just from Justin to Jamie. And there's a few other people in here, but it says Jamie. This is from Justin, and it says, Jamie and I are heading over to Blake's now with other producers for the big meeting. First time we have seen each other in person since her safety allegations. Would appreciate any prayers for protection and strength. Calm. Praying for your strength and protection and angels all around you. And then he's sitting for some prayers now. I wish I had these kind of people in my corner. I mean, the amount of support and love that they give each other is so freaking beautiful. But can you imagine what he is going through? Going to sit face to face with Blake Lively that he needs to ask his support group for prayers? Prayers of protection and strength and calm? In Exhibit 38... Justin Baldoni wrote, this is an example of someone trolling Blake on all my posts, but doesn't seem like a real account. Melissa Nathan, yet it could also be an actual troll, as they exist too. But yes, 100%, but this is not anyone from your team whatsoever. Case closed. Case closed right there. Right there. This is not anyone from your team. Period. Blake, do you hear it? There's real trolls out there, and real bots out there. This is not from the Justin Baldoni team. It says right there. This is 100% not anyone from your team whatsoever. Exhibit 39 is quite interesting because it says not to be shared on socials, but this is a nice video, Justin. Play that twice and then once more. Anything new today? Not on my end. Absolutely nothing that would affect your story-wise. Nothing from any reporters reaching out behind the scenes that know that we are working with you. It's quiet. This was already on August 17th, a week after the premiere. Already the media, the blitz, everything was already quiet. Then Jen Abel wrote, paparazzi caught you and Emily out getting coffee yesterday, and now you are being labeled as the unbothered king. Yes, king, go off. People are desperate for a new narrative. That's why I think we should start peppering in normal life stuff with your socials to start to shift on narrative. He wrote, what? Send me pics. How's that even possible? That's why I wanted to post the Zach and Claire post. Here's a post with them. And then Jen Abel says, backgrid photo. Wow, we had no idea. Jesus. And people think I staged it? And then Jen Abel wrote, there's only a few comments that say that out of the hundreds. And Do Moi actually responded and shut that down. I had no idea that could happen in Auger. It's a tiny town. Should we start to prepare? Should we start to be prepared for that stuff? I mean, yes, but nothing to necessarily prepare for. Paps are absolutely being more mindful of capturing children because they've been sued so many damn times, and it's nicer you are, the more willing to say hi, the easier they will be on you. Just keep being you and doing your thing. You're not someone we worry about. We didn't even see them. Also, for the theater visits, I'll be able to swing by the Grove visit, but not able to He didn't even know the paparazzi was there. Not like Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds always forcing those paparazzi shots. Then Justin writes, this is an incredible post from someone we have worked with on Main Enough. He nailed it, as it was my exact intention. Something I could post, and then this message isn't coming from me and honoring victims. Jen writes, let's boost this instead of you posting it. Some of the comments reference Colleen romanticizing DV, and we don't want it to be interpreted as a dig at anyone. I know the video has nothing to do with it, but let's instead have third parties amplify instead of you right now. Understood. Hey team, I'm torn on how I want to do this. I have this outfit Savannah had left me, but I'm also thinking about just going super casual, like jeans and a white t-shirt. Anyway, it goes on about his outfit, which I think is just like super cute. Your car is there, but whenever you're ready, no rush. Aw, Justin, the unbothered king. In Exhibit 47, I found quite interesting because it says here, and this was on March 13th, 2023. per our conversation. And he's good with Sony taking the lead on all workplace hotline email type things if Sony is allowed to. He gets it and all agrees. Andrea is also aware. So wait a second. This is coming from Sony, Alex Sachs, that Sony is going to take the lead on all workplace hotline email types of things? Because didn't Blake Lively say that she went to Sony and they said that she needs to go to Wayfair? Oh, there's more. Because I believe I read another email that said the exact same thing. But let's continue until we get there. Exhibit 60. Now this is going to be about a smear campaign from Blake Lively herself. So they show some articles in Vulture, and then they said, connected with Melissa Nathan, we are not engaging or touching. Okay. Having all this veteran crisis stuff out there just boosted our retainers at least 10% in my opinion. Seeing the newest TMZ attempt, do we start seeding he had to hire someone to protect him from the consistent attacks and smear campaign by Blake and her team? Case closed. Yet again, Blake. Okay? They hired someone and they knew what they were hired. They were hired because Blake's team was smearing them. Hello, it's right here. Let's find out if it's true first, as if it is. We know about the 2 complaints from Jenny and Blake regarding the sexy comment. Was it HR though? Yep. I just asked for further clarification because that information was conveyed at about 10:30 p.m. LOL, but I'm not 90% sure. But I'm like 90% sure. I thought Blake and Jenny ran to the studio. If there was a 3rd complaint brought to HR, he would have heard about it. And that was never brought up. What is this? Taylor Lorenz, What in relation to what? Caroline, Taylor posted this on her story. I might be misunderstanding what's happening here. Same. I thought it was because of me for a minute. I thought she thought I was a criminal. She's calling Biden a war criminal while actively employed at WAPO. Oh, blah, 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 blah. We go. This is Exhibit 48. This was on April 27th of 2023. It says, Jill just got a call from Ton Woods, business agent at Local 52. He says he needs our HR department info immediately. He wouldn't give her any information. Seems like we have an HR complaint. The only people on right now from 52 are set, deck, props, and construction. No complaints have come to me. We have an outside safety company with a phone number, but he said that's not good enough. He needs HR. Normally on indies, there are no HR departments, so whose info should I send? Who handles HR issues at Wayfair? Thanks, Andrea. Now let's just look up who Tom Woods is. He is an agent at Local 52. So he does work at the union with Stage and Pictures operators, Thomas Wood. He is the vice president. Interesting. So there was something that came out on April. I wonder if this is from Blake or the man beater, Jenny Slate. And in Exhibit 49 on March 12th, so this was a month previous to getting a call about HR, this comes in, it says, hey all, was thinking this weekend and I'm not sure what protocols Wayfair already has in place, but I think because of Justin's role at Wayfair, our workplace harassment protocol should come from Sony on this show. We should do the training Zoom before we start, and their email hotline should be distributed to crew upon hiring. Let me know if you're all amenable to this. Best, Alex. So Sony was on board to take all of there's 2 emails now saying that Sony will take on any complaints or anything on set. So that's very interesting because, you know, Blake said that she went to Sony and they said that they have nothing to do with it. Exhibit 53, we're almost there. There's only a couple left. This is a text change between Jamie and Justin. Listen to this, okay? This was in 2023. Okay, conversation is going well. They're talking about Alex Sachs. Alex is in a good place. I'm going to set it up for you two to talk. But you shouldn't share all that I've shared about what she says about you other than what I say now. Let's keep it up. Justin says, FaceTime me. He says, what does he know? Nothing. He knows we got shut down for COVID. Haven't talked to him since then. So nothing about Blake or drama? Nope, of course not. He knows that she wasn't happy about getting COVID. I mean, he's fine to know that stuff. He's our guy. I told Steve more today. I talked to Steve last night also. I didn't share about the comments the ladies had feelings about. Didn't want to share anything you hadn't yet. I shared with him today. He said he should come to visit and remind Blake whose money this is, and I said that's not the best idea. Period. Period, Blake and Jenny Slate. Ya bunch of mean girls. Bunch of mean girls complaining about the sanctity of motherhood. Talking about, oh my gosh, I couldn't ever imagine being in a room with you two and working with you two. Ugh. But yeah, maybe Steve should have came in. Maybe you guys should have just fired Blake. Okay, shoulda, woulda, couldas, but they were on business. They were clocking Blake from the get-go, okay? Yeah, he said that to me too regarding how difficult she is to work with. He doesn't quite get the nuance. No one gets the nuance of Blake Lively. No one knows why she is able to be where she is right now. I still don't understand. I still don't get it. Was it from Gossip Girls? Like, what is the big draw? Is it just Ryan Reynolds at this point? I'm really confused because it's not the talent. Exhibit 55, second to last. This is Jamie Heath talking to some people here. They're talking about landing for the movie premiere. He's saying he won't be able to make it. They're asking him to play a song while he's there. He's saying that him and Adam are on separate planes. He won't be able to land. And what I thought was really funny in this text is that he made a joke, and I think it was kind of funny, honestly. I'm trying to find it. Oh yeah, he wrote right here, "This is the movie that keeps on moving. Ha ha ha. Should I play the song that should have been in the movie? I meant to say the movie that keeps on moving. A pun. It's bad. So bad. Blake is right. We suck. I just realized that. Damn it. Thanks, Blake." That they're all laughing. I think that's hilarious because they were literally, not making fun, but she's like the butt of their jokes because she made their life such hell that it's like now they're like laughing about it, Honestly, excited to be there with a bunch of friends. You guys did an amazing thing and it deserves to be honored. Not even joking. Going to be a great couple of days. I hope so. In the middle of it, navigating crisis and Sony after party shit. I'm so nervous, Jamie Heath says. Yeah, it's like Secret Service. What's the possible crisis? That she says some crazy shit? Jamie Heath says, too much to text. I've hired a crisis management team costing $9 million. Also, our PR team just have to manage every landmine so it doesn't go off. And there's just so much to do. Also, aside from that, there's this wonderful thing we did, as you said, but it's also hard to celebrate because of the landmines. Every day is different. And I hope I land in New York so I can say that I beat you yet again. $9 million to defend against Blake and Ryan. And that was before the lawsuits. These freaking people. This is the last exhibit, number 59. This is Arrive Wet PR, which I think is hilarious. This is just all with the PR team. Hey guys, regarding the TMZ thing with the HR complaints, our understanding is that 2 were from Blake and Jenny regarding the sexy comment. In the addition was from Jenny regarding the thing that Jamie and her apartment in New York City. Just want to clarify. We don't know. We are waiting back from Jamie. Thanks. I think we need to position it as the claims that were already out there, but the kiss and the weight comment, but more info. But we need more info. Adding Brie too. And then they say the stuff with the Daily Mail put out the article. And they say the article was about Ryan Reynolds saving Blake Lively, right? Because he did save her in the meeting and rewrote the scenes and stuff. And then she writes, "This is wildly misogynistic. Okay, thank you. Please keep us posted. Should we do anything or leave it? Is it even true? Who would third person be? I do think we should see if they have any details regarding the claims. I do think the internet is going to have a field day with this. Not only is this sexist, but it's also embarrassing. If I was in Blake's shoes, I'd be furious if someone made it public. I needed my husband to fight my battles for me or help me achieve my dreams. We do need to get clarity on the HR violations to have a full view of the field we're playing on, but we definitely have ammunition if we feel we need to use it." They have ammunition if they need to use it. Yes, Melissa knows about the HR violations and discussed with TMZ. Okay, great. Thank you. I don't know the latest though, and no, we're walking in with a client currently, so all TMZ has been quiet, nothing else to say on it. And that's it. Pretty much the rest is just about how they want to name their group Arrive Wet or something, which is jokes. So please tell me again, where is the smear campaign from all of these text messages? Because it looks like defense. It looks like Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, and Steve Soritz clocked Blake from the beginning with her mean girl. And the fact that like Justin was just, so sad and like asking for prayers and reaching out to his friend group just because he had to go and meet with her and then still was able to act with her all of phase 2. I mean, give this man a freaking medal. But this is it from the Wayfair people. In the next video, we're going to go over some of your comments from the week, everything Jed Wallace, as well as a few other things, okay? So thank you so much. That's everything. Please drop your comments on this. Like, I don't even know what to say. I'm just a little bit... This is a lot of information coming at you. I know it's a little bit longer of a video, but that was everything. That was everything. And I can't believe Blake Lively, with this information still, is still running full steam ahead. What is she thinking? It's nutty. It's a little crazy. You feel me? But I'll see you in the next video when we talk about Jed. Thank you so much for being here. Please drop your comments. I love you. Bye.